Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2659 Homecoming in Glory 1. Xuanwu's feelings towards Zhang Yi are understandable. They felt the same way when they first came into contact with those ancient civilizations. Isn't this just common sense? Our civilization, spanning 6 generations, has only existed for tens of thousands of years. But they've been developing for hundreds of millions of years. We are just lucky to be able to grow by standing on the shoulders of giants. Zhang Yi was clear-headed. Although he was secretly pleased to have acquired high technology, he dared not become arrogant. The more of the world one sees, the more humble one becomes. Xuanwu remarked with emotion, "This circle of sand-sweeping robots is spreading out towards the edge of Tianhai City. Even if 2 more fleets from the Zepin Kingdom came, they would still suffer a defeat." Deng Shintong looked up at the steel defense line, and for the first time, a long-lost sense of ease appeared in his smile. "All right, tonight will be, as you said, the whole of Tianhai City will be closed for the day. Anyone who dares to disturb our rest will have to get past your steel moat first." Soon, the order spread throughout the city via the command center's central system. At that moment, everyone heard the same broadcast. The chaos has returned, and now there is a ceasefire. In the city, everyone's tense nerves relaxed instantly upon hearing that sentence. The exhausted soldier slumped in his makeshift bunker, paused for a few seconds after hearing the broadcast, then looked up and laughed. The children, long accustomed to being awakened by gunfire in the middle of the night, peeked out and timidly looked up at the sky, confirming that there were only quietly patrolling silver machines above, not any monstrous sea monsters with bared teeth. The man couldn't resist setting off fireworks at the street corner. The first firework shot into the sky above the newly repaired defensive tower, exploding in a dazzling burst of light in the shadow cast by the Sand Raider building. Then, the second, the third, and in just a few minutes, the entire night sky over Tianhai City was filled with twinkling fireworks. Standing atop the highest energy tower, Zhang Yi saw that Tianhai City had returned to its peaceful state and could hear laughter coming from afar. A gentle smile appeared on his face. He liked this feeling. After looking at the scene, Zhang Yi turned around and waved to Deng Shintong behind him. "Let's go. It's time to get down to business. What important matter is it? Let's eat and drink." After 2 years of being cooped up, the more than 100,000 soldiers, researchers, and experts in various fields in Tianhai City haven't had a proper meal. They were often awakened from their sleep, worried that something had happened to Zhang Yi and that Tianhai City would be destroyed. Now, they can finally enjoy a proper meal and get a good night's sleep. Therefore, they have an exceptionally good appetite today. The temporary base of the Shadow Unit was moved to a spacious square in the center of the city. Those were originally just cold, hard metal platforms, but Zhang Yi has now replaced them with multifunctional plaza modules from the Mars world. The ground has a slight elasticity and can automatically adjust its load-bearing capacity according to the flow of people. In the middle is a huge open space, surrounded by multiple steps. The giant energy curtain wall that envelopes the entire city of Tianhai can insulate against the cold outside, maintaining a perfectly comfortable environment with constant temperature, humidity, and oxygen levels. At this moment, the steps were filled with long tables. The table is neither wood nor ordinary alloy, but a certain material that can automatically regulate temperature. The tabletop is as smooth as a mirror, and with a gentle tap, the cutlery will pop out from the designated position. Luke Heron had already rolled up his sleeves and was busy at work in a corner of the square. Of course, she is not a traditional cook. It's debugging the kitchen module that was carried back from Mars. A row of white cabinets, each about 2 meters tall, are neatly arranged, with a light blue light screen floating above each one. The screen displays various ingredients and dish names. Home-style dishes from all over Earth, nutritional recipes from the Martian era, and even some strange culinary records left by the Sand Raider civilization. This thing was originally used by the Sand Raiders to solve the problem of large-scale food supply. I just adjusted the parameters. Lou Karen crossed her arms, her face full of smugness. Originally, they could only produce nutritious porridge to sustain life. Now I've added a bit of humanistic spirit to them. Huh. Now, if someone orders Kung Pao chicken, they will actually serve you a plate of Kung Pao chicken. Whoever orders braised pork will have braised pork. Fatty Sue sniffed. The aroma in the air made his index finger twitch. But these things aren't real vegetables and meat? How can they taste good? Although these foods were presented as chicken, duck, fish, and meat, they were actually still whole foods, which made Fatty Sue hesitate. As for the taste, she glanced at Fatty Sue, who looked at her with suspicion. Between compressed biscuits and restaurant kitchens, I would probably lean a little towards the latter. After all, with a population of over 100,000 in Tianhai City, it's impossible to actually create such a large agricultural and livestock base. Li Jian does raise livestock and grow vegetables, but those ingredients are only supplied to Zhang Yi and a few core talents. Then what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Fatty Sue's eyes lit up, and he practically pounced on him. While on the spaceship, he was forced to eat protein cubes for a month until he was sick of them. As soon as he hovered his hand over the screen, a recommended menu automatically popped up based on his physical data. Braised pork belly, steamed fish, and rice, at least one bowl. This thing understands me so well. He was so moved that tears welled up in his eyes. Uncle Yu didn't stand on ceremony and directly slapped his hand onto another light screen. Give me 10 pounds of meat. Any kind of meat will do, the fattier the better. My mouth has been so bland for a month. The screen flickered and displayed a line of text. It is recommended to control your food intake and pay attention to your cardiovascular health. Uncle Yu's face darkened, and he slammed his fist on the cabinet. I'm keeping my stomach intact, not modifying it into an energy reactor, just so I can enjoy delicious food. Zhang Yi stood aside and watched for a while, then couldn't help but laugh out loud. Lou Karen quickly said, don't worry, I'll adjust the parameters again. She reached out and swiped lightly on the screen, unlocking some overly rigid health restrictions, and then casually opened a privileged passage for the Shadow Squad. All kitchen service modules in the square are now under high load. High-temperature steam circulates rapidly inside, while seasonings, meat chunks, and high-quality vegetables are stir-fried in a sealed cavity with precise timing down to the millisecond. The aroma quickly filled the air. That was the long-lost warmth of everyday life. It's neither bland like a nutritional paste, nor dry like military-grade compressed biscuits. It's truly fragrant. The wind in Amami City seemed to soften as well. Members of the Hidden Shadow Unit, carrying trays, were already seated in rows on both sides of the long table. These soldiers, who have been on the front lines for the past 2 years, have long been accustomed to appearing only in the darkness and amidst bloodshed. At this moment, for the first time, they stood proudly in the brightly lit square, without the urgent alarm urging them to set off. Everyone in the family had a happy smile on their face. Zhang Yi and his friends didn't open a small canteen, but instead joined the family, eating and drinking together. There was only the crisp sound of wine glasses clinking together and the sound of mouths chewing food. Chapter 26, 60 Homecoming 2. Brother Zhang Yi. Yang Xinxin came over carrying a plate of food. The plate was piled up haphazardly with all sorts of things, meat, vegetables, and desserts, yet the logic behind the combination was completely unclear. You should eat some too. Since you came back from Mars, I haven't seen you eat anything except for energy replenishment. Don't pretend to be cool. Humans all need to eat. As she spoke, she shoved the plate into the bowl, then found a seat and sat down, swinging her legs gently like a student finally on vacation. Lou Karen, Liang Yu, Yang Xia, and Zhou Kuo also gathered around. Zhang Yi raised his glass and addressed the crowd, saying, Tonight, let's talk about the war, forget all the pleasant things, and relax and enjoy ourselves. Cheers! Cheers! Laughter, the aroma of wine, and the fragrance of food mingled together, slowly spreading outwards from the square. In other parts of the city, a long-awaited carnival has begun in its own rhythm. Someone set up a makeshift barbecue stall on the street. Some veterans who were drafted to the battlefield simply took off their shirts and danced the square dance that used to be popular on the newly built metal streets. 2 years' worth of pent-up screams and tears were gradually evaporated by alcohol and fireworks that night. Halfway through Zhang Yi's meal, the smart device started sending a series of notifications. That was an encrypted communication from a high-ranking official in the district. He glanced down at her. The signal sources are densely packed in a long string. In Huashu's 6th district, almost all the high-ranking officials were online. Afterwards, Zhu, Li Guangxiao, and others, upon learning of his return, eagerly sent him a message. Zhang Yi simply smiled faintly and then closed the chat window. After a night of unbridled revelry, Tianhai City took on a completely new look the next day, sweeping away the stifling and oppressive atmosphere of the previous 2 years. When everyone awoke again and took in the newly transformed Tianhai City in broad daylight, they were like curious children discovering a new toy. We have to learn all the technologies of the Sand Raiders' civilization from scratch. Fortunately, Tianhai City is full of talented people and experts in various fields. They are very interested in researching new technologies. Zhang Yi woke up in the morning, shirtless, with Yang Xia and Zhou Kuer lying quietly beside him. She smiled slightly, got dressed, got out of bed, and lazily stretched in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. I quickly scrolled through the 999 plus messages I received yesterday. I couldn't be bothered to read the messages sent by others, such as those from and others, because after the return of the Huashu Kingdom, it may suffer a severe disaster. As for those sycophantic words and trivial matters, the Huashu Kingdom is too lazy to bother with them. He had no interest in being an emperor and managed all the small matters himself. However, there was one greeting that had just been sent that morning, and when I saw it, a smile appeared on my face. The source of the news is another continent, Colombia. A familiar profile picture, a white Labrador retriever. Zhang Yi thought for a moment, then made a video call back. Soon, Brian's face, always sporting a mischievous grin, appeared on the screen. "Hi bro. Great crab. So good. You're still alive. I knew you'd die so easily." Brian lay like a dog on a sofa piled with clutter. Black stockings could be vaguely seen draped over the back of the sofa, and silicone products that had not been properly hidden on the floor. Zhang Yi's lips twitched. "You bastard. You have so much energy. Looks like you didn't drink that horse essence for nothing." Brian, sprawled out, asked incessantly, "What exactly did you discover on Mars? Some people say you're dead. Others say you were abducted by aliens to be used for experiments. You have to let me at least bet on one accurate piece of information. I'm almost ready to figure out how to do my intelligence business." Zhang Yi looked at the coffee and slowly sipped his black coffee. "On Mars, I found some scrap metal and decided to dig through their entire collection." Brian's eyes lit up. "You've found extraterrestrial civilizations?" Zhang Yi said calmly. "They were refugees who left Earth, trying to escape their doom, but ended up destroying themselves. I'm just picking up their junk." "Junk? Haha, you're quite modest. Something that would trouble you, with your chaotic spirit, to spend 2 years retrieving. Could it possibly be junk?" He twitched his eyebrows and said with a fawning expression, "Then, could I order some leftovers? You know, that damned old man Leonardo da Vinci really liked these things. For example, redundant mechanical technology. We're all brothers who've been through thick and thin together, so we should help each other out, right?" Zhang Yi smiled and spoke. "It's just a pause in the situation. We'll talk about this later. Judging from your appearance, you've been doing quite well in Colombia these past 2 years." Brian spread his hands and said, "Just survive in the cracks. The people above have long since reached an agreement with the civilizations on this continent, so there are no large-scale conflicts. However, in the 2 years you've been gone, I've heard that life in Huashu Kingdom has been far too comfortable." Zhang Yi's smile deepened. "That's all in the past, and there will be a future. In short, I'll always be your good brother. If there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. Brian held up his paw with a comical smile, but his eyes were sincere. When you're willing to reveal something about Mars someday, remember to let me know as soon as possible. Those of us in Colombia are also very interested in seeing what a higher dimensional world looks like. Zhang Yi nodded. Don't worry, if I'm considering a partner, you guys will be the first one I think of. With communications interrupted, Zhang Yi stretched and looked at the coastline in the distance, which appeared as a straight line, squinting slightly. Soon, the whole world will see what I got from Mars. Far out on the ocean in another direction, the night in the Neon Islands is a different color altogether. A country by the lake. Above the islands, thick clouds were torn apart by streaks of blue and white electricity, revealing the faintly shimmering outline of a temple. That is not an ancient wooden structure, but a large architectural complex that resembles a modern urban complex. Light trails run between the skyscrapers, and special aircraft shuttle through the air. At the very top of all this, the Takamagara shrine hangs silently in the air. Looking up from below, it resembles an upside-down city. Layer upon layer of temples and pavilions hang upside down in the night sky, with wind chimes bearing electronic patterns hanging from the eaves. Inside the chimes are sensor crystals that, with a gentle ring, create a visible ripple throughout the entire space. The central hall is extremely tall, with a transparent dome on its roof. Above the dome is a virtual starry sky. Those are not real stars, but energy projections of all the targets monitored by the Zeepan Kingdom. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.